In the small, forgotten town of Black Hollow, there was a house that no one dared to enter. It stood at the edge of the woods, its windows shattered, its roof sagging under the weight of decades of neglect. The locals called it the Whispering House, and they spoke of it in hushed tones, as if even its name could summon something unspeakable. The story went like this. Decades ago, a family had moved into the house, a mother, a father, and their young daughter, Emily. They were outsiders, seeking a quiet life away from the chaos of the city. But the house had other plans. It began with faint whispers in the dead of night, voices that seemed to come from the walls themselves. The family dismissed it as the wind or their imagination. But the whispers grew louder, more insistent, until they could no longer be ignored. One night, the neighbors heard screams. When they arrived at the house, they found the parents dead, their faces frozen in terror. Emily was gone, vanished without a trace. The only clue was a single word scrawled in blood on the wall, *listen. Years passed, and the house remained abandoned, a grim reminder of the tragedy. But one day, a group of teenagers, fueled by bravado and curiosity, decided to spend the night inside. They brought flashlights, snacks, and a camera to document their adventure. At first, it was all laughter and jokes. But as the sun set and the shadows grew long, the atmosphere changed. The whispers began. At first, they were faint, almost imperceptible. But soon, they grew louder, more distinct. The teens tried to convince themselves it was the wind or their minds playing tricks. But then they heard it, a child's voice, soft and pleading, coming from the walls. "Help me," it said. Panic set in. One of the teens, a boy named Jake, grabbed the camera and began recording, as if to prove to himself that this was real. The others begged him to stop, to leave, but he was transfixed. The whispers grew louder, more frantic, until they were deafening. And then, suddenly, they stopped. The silence was worse. Jake lowered the camera, his hands trembling. The others stared at him, their faces pale. And then, from the corner of the room, they heard a soft giggle. They turned, their flashlights illuminating the source of the sound. It was Emily, or what was left of her. Her eyes were hollow, her skin pale and cracked like old porcelain. She smiled, and her teeth were jagged and black. The teens screamed, scrambling for the door, but it was too late. The walls seemed to close in around them, the whispers returning, louder than ever. The next morning, the townsfolk found the